I said earlier, Bengaluru in southern part of India to Europe and North America, and vice versa. So my view is that Bengaluru fits in and complements Mumbai and Delhi and the service that we have to the rest of the world from there. But there's also a segment that would like to fly without an extra stop that we plan on serving right here from Bengaluru with our non-stop to Schiphol. And why Schiphol? Why Amsterdam? Because A, there's a lot of local demand, but B, it's also one of the best connecting hubs and connecting experiences you can get anywhere in the world. We've got partners in Air France and KLM that have a fantastic network out of Schiphol, and then we've got a partner in Delta that also provides us with unparalleled access to North America. So it's an obvious choice both for the local and connecting complexes that you can get out of the Netherlands.
Okay. Also, you've assumed charge at Jet Airways very recently. You're talking about how it's been 55 days approximately that you've spent here. Yeah. So, what are your priorities really? It's in the aviation sector for anyone who comes down, the lot of challenges that are and also an exciting market India at the right time. Yeah. So, what are really your top priorities right now?
So, it's a very exciting market. It's what I've done, what my history is in. This is personally a passion for me, and it's great for me to be back here in India and in aviation. So first, I'm very excited. In terms of my priorities, in no particular order, there are 3-4 of them that we have to go through. We must continue to invest and build on the legacy that we have in world-class customer service. So whether it's improving our onboard service, whether it's improving our operational reliability, whether it's improving the digital experience, whether it's improving our service on the ground, we must continue to leverage our history and our DNA, but find ways to improve that. We've got to, I think, at the same time address our cost structure. It's important for us to be able to address some aspects of the legacy cost structure and be a more efficient operator. And that spans the globe in terms of operating efficiency and non-operating efficiency both. And really those are two of the biggest challenges. I think the other ones in terms of how our network evolves, how we compete, these are things that over time will play out. But I think we're very firmly of the mind that we will continue to compete on a platform of differentiated service with a cost structure that is competitive.
Got it. Also, in terms of what would you do to improve parameters like RPKM and PLF, because that's where Jet Airways seems to be a little lagging behind as far as the peers are concerned.
I'm not concerned about. We don't have a particular load factor target. We don't have a particular RPKM targets. In fact, those numbers are very difficult. They start in billions of RPKMs, etc., and it's hard for most people around the world to be able to comprehend. For us, it's really about the profitability of Jet Airways, long and short term, and then the profitability is driven by the consumer experience. Profitability is driven by the value for money that the consumers feel that they are able to get. And that's the focus, really.
So twice you sort of seem to mention, even as your top priority and otherwise, that it's the focus on cash really and ensuring that you lead on the part of profitability. So any larger goal that you have or roadmap really on that front?
The goal is to be one of the most profitable airlines in the world, and that should be a goal I think that any airline has. And that's quite simply our goal. I think the roadmap is how you get there, and that's where you ask for the top priorities. The way we get there is by continuing to really base our competition on our DNA, which is the consumer experience and consumer service, but do that at a cost structure that's much more reasonable, rational, that allows us to actually make money.
Got it. Last couple of questions. Sure. The ATF price has been on the rise, an uptick of about 6% really. So what sort of an impact do you see on the operating profit? Also, reports sort of seem to indicate that the festive season fare is about 15% lower than what it was last year.
I think when it comes to fuel, that fuel is a very big component of our costs. So anytime our costs go up, it puts pressure on profitability. That's very simple. and every airline, like Jet Airways, has to address that. In terms of fares, look, these things go up and down. It's not for me to comment on them, other than the fact that we will continue to offer, what I think should be the industry's best value for money. And we've done that in the past, and we'll continue to do that in the future as well.
All right. You spoke about the ATF price. Yesterday we saw the excise duty cut as far as diesel and petrol is concerned. Are you hoping something would come by for this as well?
The
excise duty cut that we saw yesterday for petrol and diesel, sort of some relief there. But are you hoping that for ATF?
Again, I go back to the fundamentals that fuel price that the airlines pay has multiple components to it, and you can break it down into the cost of crude, you can break it down into the crack spread, excise duty that's paid, etc., etc. And our view is no matter which component of this that goes down improves the operating economics for us and the rest of the aviation world. So yes, that would be a wonderful thing for us to get.
All right. Lastly, as far as international exposure is concerned, Jet Airways has a higher exposure. So what sort of an outlook do you have on the international and domestic passenger growth really?
Yeah. So it's our exposure just is 55% international, 45% domestic. My view is that remains a healthy and balanced exposure. In terms of the 55% that is international, it's a mix of Gulf, Europe, connecting on to North America, it's the SAARC countries, it's the ASEAN countries. So my view is that we've got a diversified network, and that gives us a lot of comfort as an airline should. The outlook that we feel for either one of these is very, very strong. As we mentioned in the press conference, the domestic Indian market is growing at a faster clip than the international market, but the international market is growing in the low teens, and quite frankly, for any other part of the world, if someone says there's a market that's growing in the low teens, and by the way, that's not even the largest piece of the growth, aviation specialists will be licking their chops. So I think it's a wonderful thing. I think we'll continue to see growth in both domestic and the international arena, in my view, for a long time to come, not 1-2 years, but 10-20 years out of India plus.
Works well. So quite optimistic on that front. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rahul. Appreciate it. Thank you.